during these 20 years period of instability, the country doesn't have a lot of resources to support itself. They might have them, but there are no technological know-how to mine those oil resources and transport them. They don't have any uh, economic transaction with other countries, with the nearby countries. They don't have good roads, no school at all. It's like 1 out of 8 kids go to school in most cases. Uh, and that one has had the country because if there are no intellectuals in the country, nobody would think of what would be done because people would just want to live a hostile life. Nobody want to compromise with the other one because they don't know how important is living together in peace. I would say the United States has done a good thing by not taking a physical action. They took a diplomatic action on the uh, uh, like the sanctioning because the northern Sudan, the government of Sudan was using the resources of the country, exporting them in exchange for weapon that they could use to uh, kill the other communities, and they have been inciting other communities again. Others said that people in the south can kill themselves, and uh, they would benefit from that because if there are no people in the south, they can mine oil freely. They can do anything, any kind of their business freely without any interaction. And by killing the people in the south, there would be no Christianity. Uh, Nobody would oppose an Islamic religion. They would be free to say whatever they want to say. They would be free to teach any religion they want to preach, and that's why I think it's a very good by Christian communities not to involve as a in physical action by using a diplomatic involvement. So I would really say that that was a good step. But yet we still need help, because like the most important thing is to educate people, uh, teach people how they could live together in harmony, how they will not be able to see what races you come from, what religion you belong. They would only have to see human as other, they would have to see someone as themselves. So this is a good thing that uh, a country like Sudan should has to learn, and they won't be able to learn it by themselves because they will not learn until someone told them what to do, or until you teach people who will teach them of what to do. So I would say,
What's the average wage there for, your average person? How much do they make a day?
well, Sudan is one of those countries where people live under $1 a day. There is a lot of high poverty rates. People have been dying from starvation. Uh, Due to this war, uh, there has been a lot of effect from the environment. You can There has been no good crops if you had a chance to plant some crop. There has been no much rain as it used to be. There is also cases of some communities who usually farm by the river. They have been faced with attack by the government troop. They have their house burned down. They had their animal driven out of them. They had everything taken. So people have been discouraged from either producing something on their own to survive on, than depending on the relief. Because if someone chooses to farm, then someone would come in and destroy what you had farmed, and there is a lot of suffering right now. Yeah, people hasn't been very, very, there's a lot of suffering through diseases and through starvation.
Have they found oil in Sudan?
Yes, there is oil in Sudan, and that's why there is this big tension, because the government of Sudan is trying to use the resources that are in the south uh, to use them to develop the northern part of the country, and with that, you know, assume like here we are here in Cleveland State, and someone discover oil right here, then and people are living around this area. What would you choose as an option to get that oil? Is it to make peace or to drive out those community around to get oil? I would say, as a government of Sudan choice, they would drive people out of their land. They would kill them. They would ban their animals, their houses, and they would take over their land and they would mine oils. And that's why there has been a lot of this war too. And those people who stay there are Christian too. And with people from the government side, they see them as, not like human beings, but they see them like animals. Because being either a Christian or no religion, you are not better than an animal. So that's the reason now there's war on some cases, either religion, politics, and on resources.
How many people have died in Sudan so far in the last couple of years?
Well, within this period of 20 years or 21, the estimate is, they say it's 2.5 million, but there has been never, the whole thing, the whole situation has never been, it was not in the media. Nobody has been covering the whole thing. But the number of lives which has been lost is more than that, can double or can triple that number, because there's no media coverage. Like, take an example of the war that took the recent near genocide killing in Darfur, which was claimed to have claimed a life of 400 to 700,000 lives within a period of 6 to 9 months. So, assume a situation where the war has been going on for 20 years with no media coverage. You will not believe it is 2 million. Take it from the point of view that some other families, like where I came from, you will not be a family as large as 8 members of that family have all died. So if you take an average of a family with 4 people losing 2 people, and the whole southern Sudan is like a total of 10 million, then there would be like 5 million lives lost, close to 5 million lives.
Now, I heard reports that it was Muslims, going in there on horseback and just massacring people.
Right. This case is what happened in Darfur region, where the Janjaweed are fighting along the government troops. These are government-trained militia who have been trained to loot the communities, take their animal so that this community can die, destroy all their crops, destroy all the food products, and these people will either die from hunger or a bullet shot. So, and they have to drive people out of the land based on their ethnicity, and that's what happened. To let you know about what happened in Darfur was, it was, I think it was April of 2003. That's when the war started, and there were small groups of people who called themselves SLA. That is, they call themselves Sudan Liberation Army. These people were these were a group from the Darfur region who were offended by the way the government was treating their people. So they armed themselves with guns and bullets, and they marched into a airport is a nearby government-controlled town, and they attacked the airport, capturing the Air Force general and killing 75 government troops. In response, the government responded by mobilizing the troop. The only thing they had to do was not to get a drag army from the barrack, but they had to talk to the nearby community, who is a rival to the Darfur, and these communities have been staying together as a friend, but they were not that friend during the last 10 years because there have been drought in the northern part of the western Darfur and the eastern Darfur. So these communities were coming across to get some water for the animal. As the drought continues, they want to move closer to the river where they can farm and they can get water from the animal. But when the government found out that there are people from Darfur who are supporting the rebels, they thought the better choice was to eradicate or to eliminate that community. So they have to train the Janjaweed, they supply them with weapons, with ammunition, with food, and the Janjaweed started attacking the villages, raping women, taking kids into slavery, and killing men.
Where does Sudan get most of their aid from?
Sudan, it get most of its support from the Middle East, mostly the 13 Arab countries, Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, but mostly from places like Iraq, which has recently has been been taken control of by the United States, and this was one of the major countries that was supporting Sudan, northern Sudan, by giving them weapons, everything they need to fight the Southerners.
So, does the United States sell arms over there to the government?
Not really. I have no idea about that. But when the government of the Sudanese Liberation Army, that is the SPLA, which is the group that fight for the South, have been once one in a connection with not with the United States, but it was in connection with Russia before 1991, before the Russia collapsed, and of late they have been actually trying to be friends with the United States. And the time they had become close to United States was until the process of the Lost Boys. That's when the Southern Sudan and United States has become, had developed some connection. And it was through the Lost Boys that Southern Sudan has seen more changes and a little freedom.
How many Lost Boys are there, estimated?
How many kids? As for now, there are close to like 3,800 Lost Boys in the United States. Yeah.
And how many over in Sudan? You don't keep count?
Well, actually, the Lost Boy doesn't come directly from Sudan. They came from refugee camp in Kenya, which is like a nearby country to Sudan.